This time, our return to the first 100 episodes stops at blocking. In episodes 13 and 14, and especially in episode 44, we focused on the fundamentals of blocking and its developmental progression in children from the age of 9.
The foundation is a strong torso and straight arms with fingers spread in front of the face. We also train the so-called blocking clamp, a firm body and legs forming its shape. Children enjoy it on the floor, without realizing they are already preparing for future blocking. With the overball, we begin lying down, then continue on a bench. First, we focus on stability, then we add the upward movement of the arms toward the ball. We keep the arms as close together as possible, as if already facing an attacker together.
The next step is teaching the hands to reach courageously onto the opponent's side. The arms therefore move not only upward, but also forward in front of the face. We begin at a low net, standing on the ground, using a hoop as assistance. First, we simply touch the ball and pull it back. Then we try blocking against a thrown over ball. The key is for both fingers and arms to penetrate immediately beyond the net.
We then transfer the same movement into the jump, initially on a lower net so the arms can focus calmly on their work. The backward movement of the bent arms helps the jump and at the same time controls the distance from the net. We guide children toward a jump with a full arm swing. After all, that is how high-level volleyball is played.
However, there is still a long road to a perfect block. Reading the game, timing the jump, and choosing the correct takeoff position cannot be learned in a single afternoon. What matters is that the technical foundations are already in place. At the age of 13, we move to a full-height net, but we keep the overball for safety and for the feeling of a successful block. Blocking requires care, courage, and persistence. And these 13-year-olds already know what a point from a block feels like. In a real match, blocking usually does not begin with a stationary jump, but with movement. We begin with the side step, useful over short distances. It is important that children understand that the bent arms are already active during the movement itself.
Movement by crossover step or running appears more often in the game and is used over longer distances. Moving to the left begins with a step of the left foot, followed by a crossover of the right foot landing on the heel, and finishes with a closing step through the inward turned left foot, similarly to the spike approach.
Moving to the right is slightly more difficult because the familiar pattern from the spike approach cannot be used. The key, however, is to realize that the final action is the block, not the movement itself. That is why we focus on achieving a perfect penetration over the net after the movement.
And now we must block for real, meaning prevent the ball from crossing the net. Timing is crucial. The blocking player jumps at the moment when the attacker draws the elbow back, and this will apply in real matches as well.
Then we analyzed blocking after a sidestep, and after that came blocking following a crossover movement. From a tactical point of view, timing is the key element of blocking. The blocker jumps at the moment when the attacker takes the archer position. Then the blocker covers the direction of attack by sending the hands at the last possible moment toward the anticipated hit. We refine this through positioning adjustments and late hand penetration, so the block becomes not just a wall, but an intelligent trap. In episode 64, we focused on mistakes. First on those caused by the arms, the tool-off block, the blocking pocket, or the unfortunate lifting of the hands above the head instead of in front of the face. And then also on the legs, because incorrect takeoff positioning can completely undermine the block as well.
Just as with many other mistakes, for example in spiking or reception, most blocking errors begin down on the ground, in the footwork. All of this is a call to return to the elementary school of volleyball. Children can learn proper movement patterns from a very early age. It is enough to quietly and consistently include these patterns in warm-ups and locomotion exercises. The goal is for the movement to become automatic, to settle naturally into the body so that one day in real play it helps rather than hinders.
Meanwhile, in episode 59, we reach the double block and triple block. For players under 16, this is certainly not the main chapter of volleyball, but synchronizing the movement of two players, the shared jump, and the concept of an impenetrable wall should be developed from an early age, so that one day, a double or triple block like the one we see from the Masters can emerge.
And finally, in episode 79, we arrived at conditioning for blocking. We focused mainly on standing jumps, no approach, no fancy footwork, just pure strength and explosiveness. And who else could guide us through it than Georg Groza?
However, without a strong core, blocking would be nothing more than an acrobatic attempt in the air. That is why we work on core strength from the earliest age. First through games, laughter, and movement children enjoy. And later, then come the exercises that burn and hurt a little. But there is no way around them. Without them, no defensive wall above the net could ever be built. Most of these exercises have one goal: to teach the player to create the so-called blocking clamp in the air, that special, slightly bent body shape that resembles a hook or bracket, yet in reality forms the solid foundation of the entire defensive wall.
And that famous blocking clamp, which supports the arms, is not created by magic, but by the honest work of muscles. The transversus abdominis, external and internal obliques, gluteus maximus, serratus anterior, lower trapezius, and of course the small but tireless multifidi. Each of them has its role, and once one of them stops working properly, the whole machine has a problem.
Now come the hands, the ones that truly block. The correct arm angle is important too, the silent geometry of blocking. And here we reveal the essence of the whole matter. On one hand, teaching the body proper technique, and on the other, strengthening it so it can withstand everything: opponents, pressure, and its own limits.
We also revisited exercises with small dumbbells or resistance bands, the old reliable classics we already know from the episode about the spike. We added a few new drills that prepare even the fingers for battle, those final guardians above the net who often decide whether the ball stays on the opponent's side or ends up on ours.
And with conditioning exercises for blocking, from the youngest players to the oldest, we conclude our retrospective look at blocking in the first 100 episodes of our series.